Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Welcome! I haven't done one of these in a very long time. There's plenty to get through, although majority of the books that I'm going to show off today are actually not ones I'm going to be talking about today because I do have a dedicated video for those, but I will show you everything that I've gotten in the interim. Quite a few books and an anime actually. So yeah, I'll show you everything that I've got for the last several months, and I hope you guys enjoy. So first up is actually the limited edition of a film that I love very dearly. This is actually it's the UK release of this. It's a limited edition release of the classic anime film Attack on Concrete. This is as per Anime Limited's usual releases in a chipboard slipcover. It has both the DVD and Blu-ray and comes with an art book. So this particular packaging it has a standard re-release in the UK. And you can actually see my original release from many years ago. I've owned that the best part of a decade and a half now. I adore this movie, but this particular version of this movie is actually a website exclusive to Anime Limited or Anime Online's web store, which is a bit of a bummer because if you are from that area, then you're paying for a premium. If you're an international customer, you're then also paying additional shipping on top of that. And you didn't hear this from me, and I didn't come up with this trick, I read about it, but I actually purchased the German version on the German Amazon, and this is it's the same thing. This has the English options on it. It's an Anime Limited release, so it actually has the German, English, and French versions all on here. So if you're not wanting to pay exorbitantly high shipping fees, you will still be paying shipping fees, but if you're not wanting to have to order it directly from Anime Limited just in order to get a fancy box, etc., then this might be a better option for you. But this is a phenomenal film about two brothers in a near future world of a concrete jungle, and their struggle to survive and their relationship with each other in a world that just doesn't treat them very well. Yeah, it is a very good movie. I believe it's streaming in various places, but well worth the watch if you haven't seen it. And yeah, it is really nice to get a proper collector's release of the series, or not series, this film, because it is one that, as said, I've loved for a very long time. On to the manga, we actually have a final volume of a series that I really adore. I read the last, I think, 4 or 5 volumes last week. I hadn't actually read those volumes. I read probably 6 or 7 volumes actually the last week, but I hadn't read the last 4 or 5 just because I knew that the series had finished and I wanted to read it all at once. But that did mean that I was waiting quite a while for it to finish, so I can finally happily say that I've finished this series, one that is quite popular. It's been getting omnibus re-releases and is certainly had its era of popularity. I don't know how popular it is still in the general populace, but this is one that I have always enjoyed, and that is Noragami Stray God by Adachi Toka. Because this is the final volume, I won't flip through it, but this is a wonderful story about a misfit god, Japanese god, who saves a teenage girl and inadvertently draws her into the world of kami, Japanese gods, He also has a rebellious young Shinki, which is sort of it's a ghost or spirit of someone who has passed, but due to God's creating a bond with them, they're able to transform them into weaponry in order to fight evil Ayakashi, which when left unchecked, they cause a lot of issues and distrust and just problems generally within the mortal realm. Phenomenal series. I really appreciate how well Adachi Toka, which is a team, a writer-artist team, how well... I don't want to just say how well written, but how cohesive the series is. Each part of the story builds on the last, and so you get a real payoff with a lot of depth to it once we do hit the latter parts of the series. Yeah, it's a very, very well done supernatural manga. I really enjoyed the characters, they're dynamic. The gods are very quirky and interesting to follow. There's a lot of fun, there's a lot of humor to the series, but also a lot of very good drama and I don't want to say interpersonal drama, but drama between characters, drama between situations, and a real classy way of mirroring some issues throughout the series that I just really adore. So if you haven't actually watched or read the series, it does have an anime adaptation, 2 seasons worth, which is not a full adaptation, but is very well done. If you haven't experienced Noragami in any capacity, I would encourage you to try it out, especially, as said, it is being re-released in omnibus editions, 3-in-1s by Kodansha, which are actually larger trim than these single volumes, so you do, although it is not only better value for money because you're getting more pages, they are actually a larger trim size, and considering that sort of a omnibus can often be argued as both a budget option as well as a premium version, depending on how they're executed. I do think that it's a pretty good balance if you are a fan of the series, but you're just starting to purchase it now or just starting to get into it now. Next, I'm going to do sort of a quick show of a whole stack of books. These are all from the same publisher, which probably gives an idea of what I'm about to be talking about. And these are all books from Glacier Bay, from their last 2 crowdfunding, that's the word, crowdfunding campaigns. I believe that they bundled both of, I backed both and got books from both, and because of printing delays and such, they just delayed until all of the majority of the books were available and then shipped them off to me. So I will actually have a more in-depth review on each of these titles separate to this video. But if you are a fan of more avant-garde or indie manga, I would highly recommend their releases. They are a phenomenal small print publisher, and yeah, I've adored everything that they've released and own. I believe I own all of their physical releases in some capacity. Perhaps not, maybe that's me being forgetful of 1 or 2, but I do think I have all of them, and they are all just just beyond compare. So first is this and the Strange and Funky Happenings One Day by Natsuji Miyazaki being the first. We have the second volume of Red Riding Hood's Wolf Apprentice, Final Testament to the Moon by Sayaka Mogi. This is a 3-volume sequel series to a larger series that Mogi has done previously, set in the same world. and I have the first volume of that as well. Seaside Beta, which is just beautiful. You can't really tell here, but there's sort of a spot gloss effect with a whole bunch of, oh, what is this called? Binary ones and zeros on it by Ohuton. Glacier Bay has released a lot of Ohuton books, and they're always a delight. And then Flashpoint by Imai Arata. This, I think, was the highlight, or the work that was really emphasized during their initial, I think it was the initial crowdfunding for this series. This is also the same creator as another comic that they released called F, which is phenomenal. I highly recommend. So yes, this was their latest work, which was well worth highlighting, especially for fans of fans of the other. Apologies, set you back up. Then we have 100 Views of Reality by Kijitori Byu. This is a short story collection. Quite a few. Seaside Beta, I believe, is also a short story collection. A lot of their works, Glacier Bay's titles, are short story collections. So it is somewhat expected. And then last but certainly not least is To the Sea by Mukobi Aoi. Mukobi Aoi, yes. And a lot of these come with beautiful postcards and things as well. Another short story collection. Just, yeah, very, very excited for this. I think this is the one that was highlighted in the second crowdfunding. I can't remember. It's so long ago. As said, if you are a fan of indie or less mainstream titles, you're wanting some manga that isn't just from the major publishers and is maybe something you haven't heard of, definitely check out Glacier Bay's library of collection of works. They are well worth the investment. Next, we have a couple volumes from a continuation that I've been following, or of a series that I've been continuing. Should I say? Although these are new releases, I guess, especially here in Australia, not so much in the US as per usual. So I believe I am at least a volume behind. I'm past the content of this in the manga itself, just because I do read this one on the Shonen Jump app, which gives you an indication of what it is. But this is a series that exploded in popularity, namely because it had a very good anime adaptation, which I have actually watched. It was very good. I can't say that very often, but I did manage to, I'm not going to say I stayed up to date with it, but I did watch it. I watched the first episode or so as they came out, and then I binge watched the rest of the series once it had completely been released. But this is volumes 9 and 10 of Dandadan by Yukinobu Tatsu. This is a very funny adventure, sci-fi, supernatural series about a group of, well, initially a pair of teenage kids, a boy and a girl, who have found themselves in the unfortunate position of being the targets of some very unhappy supernatural creatures, aliens and ghosts specifically. But due to that, they have formed an unlikely friendship, and perhaps more. Since the series has gone on, we have had a larger cast of characters join our main group, which is good because they're all quirky oddballs. And you'd be surprised how well Tatsu Sensei is able to make sort of characters you'd never expect to like. I don't want to call them despicable because, you know, in the world of the series, they're like idiot 15-year-olds. But they're not nearly as aggravating or disappointing as you would expect, especially sometimes in this genre, and sometimes just generally in anime and manga. That isn't to say it's perfect, but I do think it's a fun series. I really enjoy the main characters in particular, and yeah, it is one of those titles that just kind of goes all out crazy from the get-go and then just gets crazier from there, and then from there it's a fun ride. You never really know what to expect. It's always an adventure. I've likened it a lot to just feeling very fresh, despite it being from like the Shonen Jump family, technically. Tatsu Sensei was, as a lot of these kind of standout new generation of quirky, weird shonen that we're seeing, was a assistant for Tatsuki Fujimoto, so I can definitely see the influence there. It's probably not necessarily a series for everyone, especially as early on there are some, it's a issue that gets talked about a lot in regards to the series, but there is some, I guess, very fine tightrope thin lines of like sexual threat against our female main character. Never sexualized and never painted as a good thing, but I can appreciate why some people would be, some would be uncomfortable with that. But yeah, aside from that, it does drop it kind of early on in the piece. Perhaps not early enough, but it's not a consistent thing and does grow from that after a point. So, you know, it is what it is. I do enjoy the series. This part of the manga is introducing a new character who is just like the worst. Far out. But yeah, as I said, there's ups and downs, and the characters do grow, albeit slowly. But check out Dan Da Dan if you haven't. Another continuing series. This is one that I love. This is also getting an anime right now, I think. I think it's just finished or it's currently airing. I haven't watched it. I can't speak to it. I do plan on watching it eventually, but who knows when that will happen. But this is Medalist, volumes 4 and 5 by Surumaikara. Oh my goodness. This is a sports manga about figure skating. We have our young female protagonist and her slightly older, not slightly, he's in his early 20s, but her coach, who is a former or a struggling professional figure skater, who decides to coach her after seeing her struggle to find acceptance and to break into figure skating. He takes a chance on her and they just blossom and support each other, and it's a really lovely series, very fun, fantastic cast of characters yet again. Great sports series. If you haven't read it, highly encourage you to. Or, as said, there is an anime, and I cannot speak to its quality, but from what I've heard, people are liking it, so that's a good indication, maybe. yeah, Medalist. It's very, very good. One of the titles that started as digital first at Kodansha, and I was really excited when they announced a print edition. I would argue probably due to the upcoming anime, which I don't remember if the anime had been announced then, but I always find that these things are somewhat inevitable. So yeah, definitely check this one check it out if you haven't experienced it yet. Last but certainly not least, for this video, I did get a light novel. This is, I don't know if the one after this has been released yet. I've certainly seen the cover art for it on social media and things. But this is volume 9 of the Case Files of Jeweler Richard novel. This is by Nanako Sujimura with the cover illustration by Utako Yukihiro. Yep, this is a slice of life / slow mystery. I don't know if there's like a proper genre name for this sort of thing. Series about a young Japanese man, university student, who I guess saves a beautiful young English jeweler in the middle of Ginza one night, and inadvertently gets basically that's the start of everything. He starts working at this jeweler's jewelry store atelier in Ginza, and from there he learns more about precious gemstones. He learns more about Richard, and their relationship grows, and they are in love with each other. It's not a secret, but as to whether or not the development is as quick as people would like, that's perhaps a different conversation. I really, really enjoy this series. It is phenomenal. I was first introduced to the series via the anime, which I don't believe has ever had any kind of disc release. I watched it streaming on Crunchyroll when, I think Crunchyroll or Funimation, whatever platform it was on at the time. And it is very, very good. I think by this point in the story, you really know what you're getting with the series. It shouldn't be a surprise, including, this isn't a BL novel as insofar as like how maybe a lot of people, even within BL circles, would expect BL to be. It's not really about that at all, but I think you'd have to be purposefully avoidant and obtuse to kind of not recognize the more than friendship that these characters have, even though even in text, like nothing has developed romantically, but they're not shy about it, and as such, take that how you will. I haven't read this one yet because I've been busy reading other things, but I do plan on getting to this very soon. I have read the first, the previous one to this, so I've read the first 8. I know that 10 is either out or coming out very soon, so I should actually catch up on it as soon as possible. But yeah, as for right now, I'm not too fussed. This is one of the light novels that I am still following quite avidly. I really, as you can probably tell from this video, cut down a lot of my purchases. It's just, life happens. And as I've tried to maintain over the last 10 years now, it's this channel is really in my collection or my library of books and discs and things are always prioritized by the things that I most enjoy, regardless of size, regardless of whatever else. But I have become very choosy in my old age, and it doesn't mean that I don't have a lot to look forward to and a lot to talk about. So yeah, as said, light novels are one of the things that I'm quite slow to collect, or to I enjoy a lot of light novel series, but there are very few that I would purchase physically or follow physically, collect physically, just because they are very, very long. They are comparable to manga, and I just don't have that much time in my life, unfortunately, or space in my life to continue following everything that sounds interesting to me. So yeah, but in saying that, Julia Richard is fantastic, so check it out if it sounds like your thing. So that's everything that I got for however long it's been since the last time I did one of these, which is not a lot considering the time that it's been. But in saying that, I think there's some very high quality work, some very exciting things that I've shown off, and something series that are, I don't want to say very special to me, but are ones that I really adore, a publisher that I can't help but admire and just find great joy every time they license something, and you know, just some fun stuff in between. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye till then.